One. All right. Welcome back, everybody. It is 2025. Brand new chat loop back off. Today we have Ahmed. We're going to be going over Meshery. Introduce yourself. Feel free to ask questions in the channel, and let's go for it.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Hope you have a good start of the year. My name is Ahmed Bebars. I'm a principal engineer at the New York Times, and I'm a CNCF ambassador. And I'm coming today with a project that I don't have any experience with. So, like, we're gonna look into it together and try to see what does this project look like. And the name of the project has been announced. It's Meshery, and as let's dive into it and see. Like, I have seen it a couple times across the CNCF landscape, but I didn't actually get a chance to dive into it. So as far as I'm getting into, this is a website, meshery.io, if you want to go check out the website, but we're going to go through a bunch of things today. So, wow, they have like 320 built-in integrations. I don't know what that means yet, but it means like they can integrate with different cloud native and other cloud provider stuff. What I understood from the description of the project, it gives you a flexibility of building your entire cloud native and Kubernetes clusters with managing resources. So it shows like, okay, so visually and collaboratively manage your infrastructure. It's using context aware rep relationship, define how when components interrelate with one another. So supports a variety of relationship, sometimes helpful when you're trying to build deployment and a service, RBAC groups. If we are in the Kubernetes system, I don't know what other resources might be looking like, and we're gonna learn all of that. Interestingly, is that they also support multi-cluster management for Kubernetes and cloud. So span domains, platform, multi-cluster operation. And in the demo here is that it sounds like single pane of glass where like you can have all of the stuff. We're gonna go through the documentation. I just wanna get a quick highlight on how it works. Your team's workspaces, your team's Google Drive for cloud native projects, similar to the idea of Terraform and other things where like you get your own workspace. That looks impressive. Like I have not seen a tool that does all of this at a single span before. So let's dive into GitHub and see, oh, there's more. Okay. Dry run your changes before you merge them. Interesting that it follows the GitOps approach and has WebAssembly. Okay, that's too many things it's trying to do, and like I'm really want to go over like the project in GitHub and see like how it goes. So let me just jump quickly to that. If you want to go through that GitHub project, you're gonna see it on the top. Click on the link, and then you'd be able to go there. So I did this. Share this one instead. So this is the Meshery project, and definitely there's a lot of people, so it's on my side that I didn't use it before, but like there's a lot of people starting this project. Seems like have a good traction with a lot of forks. So self-service, so as it's described on the landscape and cloud native, it's a self-service engineering platform. So it's an open source trying to help enable the design and management in Kubernetes cluster. And like I don't know about the design in particular, but like it could be helpful in some cases to see the visualization. It's very interesting. I have never seen something like this in the past where like you would design it in like a console way, visualize it, and make an action of it. So that's really freeing the chain of YAML while managing Kubernetes cluster deployment. It's very interesting approach, but it seems like still support GitOps from one perspective. uh, Functionality went through that. So I don't know. Let's see what they have. I played around and I saw they have like a playground, which is fascinating. So if I share bags, is like let's see how to get started. So we can get started many ways. Let Meshery playground and see if that works for us, and then from there try to read the docs, figure out what is it actually doing. So one playground. Do I need to sign up? I already signed up early and I let it do things. Nice. Okay. So this is a playground. All I did is just signing up with That's actually a good question. So that's one of the things that like we're trying to figure. I think like the idea of Meshery, as far as I can read from the description, is trying to integrate all of the pieces together. So think about it from a platform engineering perspective. I have too many pieces. Biggest problems that I have seen in the platform engineering area is that like how to connect all of these pieces together. So it's kind of like seems like it's connecting all of the pieces, having like 320 plus integrations seems like a good way of integrating these all of pieces together. Know who is talking to what's the relation between two objects. It's really hard when you have like large scale clusters and environments to go through. So it's very interesting approach. So all I did here right now, I signed up and just like I got to the Meshery playground and I was planning to use the console, but like let's start with this and see what does that mean. So overview. So this is the first view you get in. I'm just gonna close this for a second. And we have an overview. So this is the overview. So looks like since they have a lot of integration, and this is what was described earlier on the website, like about 320 plus integrations, they can like list all of these resources. So I can like go on a resource and know if it should be clickable or not, but this is like more of like an overview. So looks like it's clickable in some cases, not all of the cases, but at least like when I tried here, API service didn't load well. I tried the alert manager. Like maybe we can have like a way of knowing which one are clickable and which one are not. That would make it easier for me because I think like it only shows that ones that can correspond to these on the top. But like we'll figure it out. So this is an elastic IP address. I can see that, but at least I can see like how many deployments I have. I don't know how this would work on a large scale cluster from like that way of how things are working here. But we'll see. So some of the stuff are working. So let's go back from that view. So first you get your overview, which is everything on the cluster. That's like everything I mean, like by runner deployment, all of the stuff. Love to see like if that might be moved to a table view. I don't know if that's feasible. Maybe I just don't know about it. But like these seems like each other, so I don't know which until I highlight on them, hover on them, and then I will see it. I will start here. So now I can see all of my nodes, age. It's a very good way of like seeing everything that you have. And I believe like when I click on one, as you can see, you get all of the information related to that resource. If it's a node, you're gonna get the capacity, you're gonna get the allocation. So it serves as more of like a good, easy way to get through different things. I think like some improvement here could be done on the UI where like the labels or anything, but I understand some changes might be like depends on which objects. So I believe each object will be different. Depends on the information here. Get namespaces, staging full stack, and then like you can see like what finalizers are there. Can I see actually like it's very interesting that so I can see which cluster I'm connected on. So here it say yeah, okay. It say like which cluster I'm connected in, and basically I can add more cluster. I'm not gonna upload any config from here, but like the visualization seems to be helpful to upload like specific config if I have. Believe like if you are running this on a specific cloud platform, that's where like you can upload different config and then you'll be add more clusters, which gonna give you like another good view of like how many things you have. This is like cluster resource overview, so it's not specific, but this one is more like might be specific to a specific cluster, but you can see here it provides you with more inputs about the clusters. So that's a good way of seeing different things. And then we're talking about like the basic things where like we can see ABBF exporters. These are deployments, daemon sets, all of that kind of stuff. And one of the good things that thank you, James, for saying that. So many functions fall under its umbrella. It's very interesting that they have too many integrations because that means like you can integrate and extend more than what you have, which is one of the things that like a lot of the things that we have seen here is like full short because like you only focus on your CRDs or your other things. So it's gonna be like more and more you can see. I don't know how, if I can see like, let's say I extended some stuff and I built it something else, how I can make it show here on that dashboard so I can see it. Looks like maybe some configuration might be needed. If someone knows from the people who are watching and using it, let me know and we can dive into it. But we're going to look into some of the stuff today. So roles, cluster role binding, all of the resources that I need, like I can have access to. And this is basically great. It just gave me all that I need about not just a single cluster, but about multiple clusters. Okay. So James saying like, depending on which extensions are loaded, probably we are not there yet. Like we didn't load too much, but let's try to see some of the settings over there. So I want to go through like, actually, you know what? I'm gonna open the documentation and let's check by the documentation how to go through it. So overview and installation. I do want to install it. So, but let's go through the concepts. So the functionality is I have to share the screen instead. So I just clicked on the documentation and it took me here. So it's Meshery's for all cloud and cloud native infrastructure. So functionality support all Kubernetes based, including cloud services. So it supports day 0 and day 1, which means provisioning and discovery, onboarding, all of the kind of stuff. But also support day, which is more important for like a lot of people who like done best practices and all of the kind of other things when it comes to day 2. Meshery is for engineering teams, whether you're a platform engineer, DevOps engineer, whether making a day 0 adoption choice, day 1 configuration, or day 2 deployment, it should help. And there are like bunch of documentation, which is always great to have like the documentation to follow. Like this is one of the great documentations that I have seen so far. So let's go through some concepts and get on the architecture of this. Since I launched it through the dashboard or through the playground, I definitely didn't get to install it personally yet on my current cluster. If we have time, we can go through it. I would rather just understand what is it actually doing. So what are we talking here? Looks like many components are been done. So Meshery like have a server, adapters, WASM filter, UI, the ones that we were showing, and the provider UI, remote providers, and any must adhere to Meshery extension point. Seems like this is another beast where like, this is how the integration that we talk about. Operator, and it's written in Golang. I believe this is operator is going to be like one of the Kubernetes controllers that you usually use. Think about deployment controller, replica set. There's an operator does some job. I don't know what is it yet. Mesh sync, broker, and Meshery database and Meshery CLI. It's a lot to explore in a single hour, but let's try to figure it out. So deployments, Meshery deploy a set of containers, and these containers can be either on Docker or Kubernetes, and they handle things through gRPC requests. So I'm trying to understand here what's it exactly doing. And a connection from Meshery server to Meshery adapters is initiated from a client request, use either like Meshery CTL or the UI. So basically think about, you have a Kubernetes UI. If you deployed this dashboard before, basically it's the same idea. You have an API, gets the API server for Kubernetes, gets a request. So that's where like Meshery server is here for, and it supports like this other things. So this is the architecture, and I'm like, okay, that's nice. Okay, so this is like the operator, the sync, the broker, and this is like, oh, interesting. So it could run in a different formats where like you have some adapters connected to different other things. To be honest, like this is like a lot that more than I expected. I expected like a smaller project where like, yeah, this is how it works, but this is like make me feel like it's a set of tools. It's like a full platform, like a full framework of like how to really do platform engineering. And I'm very interested and curious on my own to figure out like what exactly this solves. So each Meshery adapter delivers its own unique specific functionality, as such as at the time of deployment, the adapter will register its cloud native infrastructure specific capabilities to operation with the Meshery server registry. So we're talking about adapter. So think about how you just like allow all of these integrations to come in before. So like we initialize it, the adapter connect to the server, say, hey, this is what can I do? This is what can I provide you? And the contract here decides like how things have been done. So this is the initialization step, calls operator, register fingerprints, and I don't know what that mean yet, but like we'll get to know it. Discovery data is transmitted, and then you get data back into the like Meshery server, which understand like how to use this adapter from an operation standpoint, which is great. So let's talk about the client. So this is API that we talked about earlier, which is like script or CTL or like UI. And that's where like you talk to the Meshery server, and we have the adapter. And I'm glad that we have Lee here. And I know for a fact that Lee is the maintainer, if not the founder. Yes. So Lee is on the chat. He is the one who built it. And Lee, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that we spoke briefly on this. So you corrected me on like what's actually Meshery is for. So glad to have you here, so you can help me answer questions and tell me if I'm going the wrong direction. And then like we get to providers, and the providers are different from the adapter seems. So you can have a local provider, and you can have like different other providers, CNCF Labs, Meshery Clouds, all of that kind of stuff. What's a provider is doing? As a point of extensibility, Meshery supports two types of providers, local and remote. And I want to actually like check what provider means. So let's go quickly for that. So providers as a point of extensibility, it has a built-in local provider named none, which is normal. So you want to build stuff to it, and remote provider is designed to be pluggable. So this is an extension to user, and extensibility often clean separation of the core functionality. I like that actually. So they are not trying to boil the ocean. So they are, 2000 plus contributor. Didn't miss that. Yeah, there are many contributors, and definitely there are a lot of traction on that project. Remote providers should be able to offer like custom RBAC, custom UI components, and custom. So like in nutshell, like this whole thing is a plug and play where like you install the core thing, and then you get like a bunch of other things that you can connect to. And if you can't find like whatever extension or whatever like provider that you're looking for, you basically can get into a point where like you can build your own, which is very, very interesting approach. But let's go back to the concepts again and see like this. So wow, object model. Okay. That is a lot. Talk about available extensions. Could be coming from a remote provider. Identity, cataloging, and other things. There's a legend down there say like Meshery owns this object, or owns a sub-object, or aware of this object. That is actually a lot of things. So you can see that like most of the objects are owned by Meshery, from like the containers, the adapters, the servers, the models, the user preferences, a lot of things. Like this is how it actually works. But then there are all of these other things where like on that color, it just like coming externally, but Meshery is aware of it. So, and then like they have like coming soon some public clouds. That might be actually a piece of documentation. I don't know if it's real or not, but they might be already in the cloud. So, don't know. So we'll see. And then we have the operator. So, the operator is responsible for the sync or connection with the broker. So that's the Meshery system deployment. Like one thing, there's there's like one of the fanciest documentations that I have seen for an open source project. and it contains a lot of explanation for the architecture and for different things. Like you can actually go through it and read it. I'm learning a lot by like the components of like how Meshery is using it. So that seems to be a lot fun. But I think like we got enough to understand what does this concepts look like. Seems like there are too many different things that we can go through, from like the architectural pieces sets together between adapters, database, operator, all of the architecture pieces. I think like it may be helpful to go through the logical piece and see like what does that mean as an extensible platform. So that's what we're looking for. Earlier it said I can connect many pieces. So let's go and see like how does this actually connect many pieces together. So there are components and connect credential, design environments, models. Still a lot to go through. Logical component, establish foundational construct. So this is like a very holistic and defined framework that goes through different elements. So we have the designs, which is like, yeah, like constraint on designs. Design belong to only one workspace at any given time. Designs can be transferred between workspaces. So it's all the components that like sets on the project and like define like how it goes through. So we have like the designs, we have the environments, which different things. You can create an environment, delete an environment, and it's very interesting. We have the models, which is one of the things that I saw earlier is that you can bring your own model, which is one of the key. Yes, create your own models. So if you would like to create your own augment existing models or contribute to new models, please refer to contributing models. I think like that's where like you can start build things in different way and have things that fits your organization. And that's sometimes what organizations are looking for from that perspective. So classification, categories, and this is the registration office, labs, tests, final exam. Okay, this is a model analogy between engineering, computer science. This is a professor courses. This is how the models look like between like models, relationship, operations, all the kind of stuff. So that's a lot. Okay, it's just like it's too many concepts that I have to go through. But like I'm hoping that like we can explore some of the guides and tutorials today. So I'm actually interested in like doing some hands-on on like what actually we can do. So let's go through some guides and tutorials and see like what does that look like. So using Meshery designs to manage your infrastructure. So seems like one of the components we're gonna get into it is design. So what we need to do is like how to do design, importing an existing infrastructure. We don't have this today, but then like we can go through and see like how we design something on our own. So suggest reading deploying sample application. Let's see. So deploy a sample application, go to the management page. So what's this gonna do? Includes a few sample applications to help you explore cloud native, each collection experimental, purpose of learning. Okay, so full layer way, exposing your cluster. I don't know if this is gonna work actually in the playground. Hopefully it will. So let's see, we're gonna deploy what? With the management page of any service mesh and install any of its stable version. How to get to the management page? Okay, so we're gonna get to the management page here. To do configuration dashboard. I only can. Oh, who added that cluster? That wasn't me. So I don't know who added that cluster. I didn't. But this is like someone added this cluster, which is fun. Workspaces, okay, adapters, configuration. So let's see, untitled design, auto-generated, all of that. There's a bunch of designs here. Like how all of this comes through. Lee, that's interesting. Do you know like how all of these designs are from like usually in the playground and people are just like getting through them? Because the playground cluster, okay. Yeah. Okay, let's create a design. I know what this. I actually want to play in the canvas because this is one of the interesting things that I want to see. So, how big is this video? Okay, it's a minute.
Welcome to
Okay.
MeshMap. You can collaboratively design and manage your Kubernetes clusters, service mesh deployments, and cloud-native applications. MeshMap has two modes, Designer and Visualizer. In this session, let's explore Designer. Using the Designer toolbar, give your new design a name.
Okay.
In the Designer panel, browse available components and select the specific version you need. Build complex cloud-native deployments by dragging and dropping components onto the MeshMap canvas. Configure each component using the configuration panel. While creating designs, know that your design is automatically saved with each change
Are,
made.
are you all hearing this? Like, or I'm hearing it myself? Like, is the sound is coming to you all? Can someone confirm in the chat if you're hearing something from that video? I just don't want to be like hearing the whole thing myself. Sounds great. Okay. Okay.
Don't forget your handy context menu. Right-click to access more design actions. Connect components or group them as needed. You can load designs by clicking to load existing designs for your Meshery cloud account. Alternatively, you can merge designs by dragging and dropping an existing design onto the current canvas to combine two or more designs together.
Okay. Let's take it for a spin. I like it. I like, there are steps. It's actually you like you done like that contributor team and like done a great job on like optimizing the whole user experience. One of the problems that I usually see with open source project sometimes comes to the documentation and the user experience and make it really hard at sometimes for people to go through. Personally, I never seen the project. Like I heard of the project, never used it before. It's my first time, so it make me feel like, yeah, I'm not like trying to hassle around documentation. I can figure out something on my own way. So this is a design. Let's call it test lab, and then like, okay, cool. I already do the design, so let's do mesh designs. Oh, a lot of have their own designs, so I just like I can grab any design from the public people, just like test lab, and this is my design. Okay, so let's do some objects here. So Kubernetes, let's get a deployment. Nice. Okay, so I can drag a deployment, say, hey, this is my deployment, and this is actually my min ready seconds too. And then now I have to select like what other things that I have to choose. So now I got this deployment. How I actually move in that thing. So, oh, got it. Drag and drop. Not used to that when I build DevOps stuff, but it's really great that you can do it this way. And I think like it has plenty of information to can see like what other things that you can get to. So this is a deployment, rolling update, like all of the kind of stuff. This is about labels. Okay, I can do help a relationship from to, and that's interesting because now I can start like drag and drop like relations to things. Like I can allow, actually, I believe if I have two deployments, for example, I would allow one to talk to the other. Let's try this. Let's see. This is how to do the rolling update spec template. So what do we need to do? Like we need an image. No, we need a container first. So container, let's do a container 0. Image, let's do Nginx. And then Nginx probably. Let's see if this is what works the same way that I know it works. This is how the container look like. Okay. And then I can action it. So what is the actions available? So I can validate. validating design. So it's gonna like check if my design is valid or not. I can see there's something wrong with it, and it say spec must have required property selector. So now like I need to have a selector on like what does this means and all of the kind of stuff. So let's call it ab test lab. And then let's see. Okay, now like you can see definitely that this looks like a deployment, and I think this looks like a deployment in the default namespace. So actually it created the whole set of objects around it. So it creates a namespace, created the deployment, and then created like a container inside the deployment, and I can go through each and like try to play around and do all the stuff that I want to do, which is very, very interesting. And then can get components. So this is part of the things that we have seen before. I can build something completely, which is great. Let's see if we can do that, like some runtime, some stuff that has been already built. App definition and templates. Like I'm overwhelmed with the feature set. That's one thing that I have to say. Like I like that it has a lot of things to do, but like I think like where I'm at this point, I feel like there's a bigger learning curve for me to understand like how to use it on a day. So it seems like sure it can fit all of the necessary things that I wanted, but it might be in a way of like how I really use it on a day to day is might be a different story. And this might be like my first time using it, so that might be like my problem as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the actual issues that we are seeing. How I zoom out from here? Do I zoom out? No. Control minus would do the job. So let's see. I saw an action about deploy. So let's try to deploy. Deploying design test gonna give me a notification. So that is nice. And then error deploying this, and it shows me a ticket for like why. Oh, okay. That is very, very. I love that, because one of the problems that you can see is like actually taking me. So what happens is you can like the error, it was telling me, hey, there's an error. And this error is like Meshery get mesh kit wherever. And then like you can see here that is I can search. It took me to like a place where like I can actually search that exact error code, which is like where there is. So like based on wherever. So this is in a library, which is like give me like what is the error is coming from, and then based on that specific error. So let's see what was this error. It was 11.190. So 11.190. Okay. Might not be here, or might I need to like really like load a lot of things to see it. But it didn't like just for knowledge, it didn't work the way that I expected to work. So I was hoping that like the link would take me directly to the error. But let's go back and read the error. So there's something about error deploying and say required value, and there's like a problem about the selector doesn't match template labels. So I basically did the thing wrong, and then I can open this in the operator, which is another interesting feature, and see like what happened here. But that didn't work the way that I wanted. So let's go back to configuration, designs. Let's go back to my designs and see my actual design. So let's go back here and see like what are we looking at. Design. Let's go check this out. This is my user. Let's resize this. Then I go to the canvas again. Dashboard. Where is the canvas for this? Okay. I'm kind of lost here. So I kind of like don't know exactly how I got to the previous screen, one way or so to speak. So I clicked on configuration. I tried to click on design. If I created a new design, that doesn't show me the things that I wanted to see. So it just like made me confused. Where did the canvas go? Actually, that's very interesting. Where did the canvas go? It's currently invite-based project. Great question. Okay. Oh, so why it disappeared? Ah, okay. So I didn't know how the someone disabled the canvas. There's also the canvas. Oh, okay, someone maybe, I don't know. Something happened. Then I couldn't see this. Let me see if I refresh this page. What's gonna happen? Okay, it's still here for this page, but it wasn't here for the other page, and I'm not sure why. I'm playing, I'm playing in the cloud, so that's part of me, like why other people could have, if it's a shared environment, that where could I be like missing stuff. To design. So one thing that is interesting here is that I try to validate this and I try to deploy it. So the validation should already make it right if it's valid, and then I can deploy it. What's operate doing? Context matter, no Kubernetes context selected. New. Unsaved changes. I did save my changes. Save as test lab copy. Did it take me out? Oh man. Okay. You know what? I'm having a hard time getting this to work. So I'll tell you one thing. I'll take this to I might have done something wrong, but like I would love to control the environment and then see like what I'm doing. So let me go to the docs and see if I can run this in like cluster, like kind cluster or something that might be like easy. Okay, so there is this. Okay, I went to the documentation and looks like kind is one of the options. In the operator mode, try clicking layers button down in the dock. Let's throw at Lee. Lee knows better. So my canvas are gone. Okay. Did I get it back? Mesh maps. Okay, this is the maps. Operate. Okay, I'm gonna leave this. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I have the expert here. So Lee's telling me to press layers. Oh, well, okay. Now layers, I can see like a few things. They already created a few things, but not everything that I wanted. So namespace, where's my deployment going? Okay. Lee, I didn't change anything and it just keeps saying like you have to change something. So that might be something, interesting, but the validation goes in and then it doesn't go beyond that. So if I hit deploy again, it's going to take me through the same steps and tell me like it's failed because, oh man, okay. Yeah, so I was here and then went to operate. Now operate, yes, it's great. It's showing me my design. And then it's actually like trying to show me exploring Kubernetes pods, and then I'll like dry run this. So actually this tutorial is much better. So there's a design called perform dry run, body, yes, required value, image pool policy. Okay, that's better. So it's telling me something is not working as expected. And this is a tutorial. So I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to hit design again and click OK. So this is the design that I'm looking for. And if I look at, zoom in a bit and see if we can get into here. So let's try to fix this spec container. Body, yes. Container required value. Okay, so loading configurator takes a time for sure to get all of that stuff. So what is this name? Oh, okay. So test. Let's say the name is test, and get this Nginx. Nginx. Let's say, for example, just for sake of making it easier. Now, if I hit validate, again, no validation error, 2 components, 52 annotations. Let's do dry run. Okay, there's one issue. Unsupported. Like the actually the cool thing here is like you can just like drag and design drop thing, and then you find yourself in a position where like it tells you exactly where, which is something that is very good if you are doing something from like a UI or a console or something, and then it guides you directly to where exactly you want to change. So here it's say, hey, spec container image policy, like the supported value is one of them. So like we want to set this to something, and it's actually set to always image nginx image nginx.io. How does that image work? So container image name, more info about images is filled option, allowing high level configuration to override container images. Okay, so that's always this said I need this. So I'm writing it all similar to like what exactly needed. Okay, no deployment errors. Seems like we've got a success this time. So let's deploy it. You can drag drop YAML file onto the canvas when it have rendered. Okay. I see comments here and other things, so that's very the good thing is like this could be used just beyond. What I like about it is just like I think like if I'm new to Kubernetes, for example, and let's take it from 2 different approaches. If you are new to Kubernetes and you don't know like how it works, and if, as Lee's saying, like this is a collaborative tool like Google Docs and any other thing, it could be like a great to show someone how to do things and actually explore to them like what's that mean and all this kind of stuff. This is a hidden like menu context that we're talking about. Like I can lock and copy stuff, and then I can like do this. So now I'm not doing anything, but like see operate, what happens in operate. So in operate, nothing happened yet. But here I have this supposed to be deployed. Okay. Actually, I'll save it. Save as, copy. Okay. Head again, deploy. Okay. Get to that. Deploy this. Okay, get to that notification. Okay, it's something like spec.active ID, like toleration. It's just like allowed to be set. So allowed to be set to 1 if it was previously. So forbidden, but updates may not change field other than spec containers, all of the kind of stuff. Let's open it in operator and see what does this mean. Okay, that error that said something happened. Anyway, but that seems like a very the other thing that like I'm really curious about, like all you like exploring this project, is like how it's really the playground seems to be helpful, but the changes, what I didn't like about it is, as far as this point, is that like with every time that I had the same thing, I get to different views. So one time I got the tutorial, one time I got the design. That might not be the use case for like if you're using kind, because that's going to be the only things that you're going to do. So we have about 15 minutes. So I would just like go through kind and just like see if it's quick and easy to do. And then like try it from there. So let's get through the tutorial and see like what we have to go for. For that reason, I will just like share the tutorial here. I don't know if I can share it in the private chat, but you can follow on I'll speak loud on like what is the documentation said, but basically I'm gonna follow some stuff and try to share my screen on the CLI to, if we can put the link for that to see like how it works. So let me just switch my screen to CLI and then take it from there. Cool. So let's see what's gonna happen here. Trying. So I shared my CLI and I think it's gonna come up momentarily on like how it shows. Let's say stop screening, stop. Can we put the CLI? How can I put the CLI up? I'm already sharing it. Okay, so nice. Okay.
Sorry.
Up. So documentation said create a cluster. Let's create a cluster. And definitely I'm using Warp, so have different stuff. I want to call it Meshery cluster and then create one. Wait for it. What problem I have? So that's a different problem that I probably don't have Docker installed, and that's another lovely problem that I have to get to. Have Budman, I have like different things. So let's see. Bud machine. Love when I have different things that it's not working. Let's start a machine. Don't have Docker. I don't know what happens. Got into a new machine and then like I didn't create much. So VM doesn't exist. So basically I need to create one. So start the default. Bud machine initiate default. Love when the CLI can help me figure out like what I'm actually missing. That's a very interesting approach to see. So basically I'm following the commands. It's just downloading something. It's gonna take forever to do that. Let me see. Let me just walk through like what's actually I need to do. So I need to create a cluster, get the context, all do the stuff, and then install the Meshery CTL, which is hopefully Brew will do the work. So love that. Okay, starting a VM. Let's see. Second motor is a step behind. It has web-based interactive terminal and log streaming for buds. Not showing here. Okay. Cool. But definitely like a one good thing here is like it's a really like a great. I didn't try it yet, but like it seems like it's a big project that you really want to take your time investing in understanding what exactly is doing. But it seems like it's in the right track of like if you want to start things and see like how that works on platform engineering and all of the kind of stuff that it's so rather I mean that wasn't discovered by Ahmed just yet. Okay, second note. Yeah, I can't really like the project seems to have like tons of things has been built already. I can't just in an hour discover this whole thing. It seems like a lot to me to discover, and like I'm running into multiple issues with brew install. Budman is not helping. Let's see if we can get Docker. But yeah, like it's a lot of different things that I can't really get into one place. But 1 hour is definitely not enough. It's a very interesting project. We have 10 minutes left, and there's much more to get to until like I get to the Docker thing. Might take like some time. So let's see if we can get anything running up too quickly. Cannot running. Docker is Docker daemon running. All of the kind of stuff. Designer is useful if only architecture drawing, which seems to be right from what Lee's saying. That designer seems to be very interesting. Start Docker daemon. Thinking. Warp also doing like the whole thing about. I don't have Docker installed, and that's why probably on this machine. So okay. Let me try quickly to get Docker. Download Docker desktop for Apple Silicon, and I got Docker, and then take time to get Docker running. But
While you get that going, I'm gonna ask for final questions there in the chat. Thanks, Lee and folks. It's been a really great interaction happening in chat.
yeah, thanks for Lee. He's like really helping navigate through like different questions. That were really super awesome. Love that we have people really has the time to support the open source community and support like
Yeah.
projects like CNCF. Okay, got Docker in. Let's see where I'm at right now.
Someone's asking you about your terminal. That's a warp terminal. I'll help with that.
Yeah, thank you. It's like I used
I had
to like actually funny stories that like John we had this conversation earlier that like I used to iTerm too, and then like a colleague of mine moved to warp, and then I like how it works and all of the stuff. So it's very interesting. Personal.
awesome.
Oh, just
And also, I'm stepping out to pick up my kid. So as you close up, just close it up and close the browser, and then we'll be good to go. And for everyone else, we'll see you all next week.
nice. Okay, so I have about 8 minutes left.
Yep.
Should we do that? Okay. Okay, let's try at least to get kind. I should have like I had many kinds of cluster, but like looks like I damaged my Docker while I'm migrating to a new machine. So, okay, starting control plane. At least Docker daemon right now is in a good place, hopefully. And then we can like at least get something installed. Okay, cluster get info. Let's follow the docs back and then see. Okay, config get cluster. So if I do cluster info, this Meshery, okay, there's a cluster, and this is my actual configuration is. So okay, get buds, no resources in default namespace, get everything nice. There's a kind and all of the kind of stuff. Let's see how to get Meshery installed. So how we install the CLI. I love it. There's brew for it, so I'll copy that, get it here. Okay, Meshery CLI. Lovely. So the configuration is here. I'm missing Meshery configuration, but it's telling me that like I don't have server available because we probably didn't yet install Meshery on the server. Like I want to see how easy is the install, to be honest. So there are different ways of installing it and installing user Helm. So basically with kind cluster, we can actually install it through Meshery CTL system start. And that is very interesting, but you also can do it via Helm if you want to. So let's do it quickly. I don't want to go through the Helm process right now, but you can see on the terminal, it's just deploying Meshery, so it makes it easier. Deploying Meshery in Kubernetes takes a bit. You think about it. Like if I start to like split my screen and try to get creative around like how I do things. Clear. Too many things happened. Clear. Okay, so something got installed. If I say, oh, lovely. If I just get to say Meshery connection refused. So far, I can get to the UI. UI is invalid command. So let's see what does the documentation say about this. To access, it's dashboard. So my Word recommendation was wrong. So it's dashboard. So if I click on Meshery CTL system dashboard, it's probably gonna pop up something, but at this point it's saying like it's refused, and I don't know why it's refused. So let's check get buds. Let's get buds in everywhere. Let me close this. Everything seems to be running as expected. I still don't see why. Let me check the documentation again and see like what did I miss to get that. if you have installed Meshery in a Kubernetes or remote host, you can access Meshery by exposing that on a board forward. I get what, yes. Okay, so I have to do that board forward thing and then board forward it to the Meshery thing. And yes, it works. So I don't want to mess up this thing, but like you can see, like it say, hey, it's open in the UI, and I will try to quickly show you here. So we'll put that on screen. John might have left, so I can't show you. I can't control like what is the source that we can update right now. But like basically, I was able to get a local image, a local like playground of Meshery in a couple minutes. And this is on its own, it's quick. I think like from there, I can have some designs that I play with and some other things. It said like, hey, a couple of things are not available, which is great. So let me try. But it's good that I can just like quickly create this and see it in I know like I can show you like what I'm looking at, but once I just like ran that command to install it and board forward it, I got the same exact experience on the playground. I think like I will spend some more time trying to figure out how like that would work on my own, at least kind local machine. But would love to chat with you more over like LinkedIn or over any place you would find me somewhere somehow. Reach out and let me know how. And I'm also at the CNCF Slack. So that was really great. Not super great like the experience that I was hoping for, because that project is big. So like I was hoping to go something quickly, understand what it's actually doing. Now I have understanding of what's actually doing. So I get the idea of platform engineering, but it's huge. So yeah, let's see what we can do with a platform like this. And definitely I will reach out to Lee myself and others to see how are you using in production, what issues that you're trying to solve with, all of the kind of stuff. But like great job. The team has done phenomenal job with documentation, with everything that I have seen so far. I can't complain. So I will definitely like try to play around more with it. And for today's episode, I think we are done. So if you have anything else you want to add, please ask. Feel free. I think the chat is almost about to be over once I leave this channel. But thank you all for being here, Lee and team and everyone who helped, and for everyone who's really committed to the open source and contributing with such great tools like this. Thank you all, and let me just tinker back with like Meshery and see what actually I can make out of it. But seems like a great project. So good to be with you here, and see you all soon. KubeCon or any other events. If you are around in New York, sometimes I drop by. So we'll see you all. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you.